Okay, Wednesday night, January 2nd, 2013. Topic is Siddur Tefillah. Our prayer book. What we say, what don't we say, why we say, where it came from, what's happened to the prayer. A lot of different things we're going to touch upon. There's no real one place to start. So I'm just going to try to give a brief introduction. It seems that going as far back as we know of, let's say approximately the year 900, and it's probably slightly before that, people in Spain weren't sure what to pray, how to pray, what to say, what not to say, and they sent out letters to the Geonim in Babylonia. They received an answer in the form of a prayer book from Rab Amram Gaon, and slightly later from Rab Sa'adiah Gaon. These prayer books, if you want to call them the blueprint, for what we say today. But then again, they're very, very different. Rambam, a little bit later, laid out the prayers more as what is the essential prayer. And he left out all the extras. And once in a while he mentioned there are people that add this, people that add that, but he just tried to show you what needs to be done without getting into more details. As we know, there were communities throughout the world, and each one developed the prayer in their own way, in their own style, whether it was Sephardim in Spain, whether it was the Mustarabim living in different Arab-speaking countries, lands, cities, or the Romaniyot, the Jews that were living in certain areas of Italy, in Greece, in Turkey, in the former Byzantine Empire. And each one developed prayer and created prayers and inclusions and exclusions, based upon what they felt was necessary. And a lot of it was left in the hands of Hazanim to develop, whether it be on a weekly basis or on a holiday basis or a yearly basis, or each Hazan, as one retired and a new one took over, he would take away prayers and add other things. Prayers were not really unified. Unification of prayers seemed to have only occurred once printing started. With the advent of the Gutenberg printing press and then Hebrew press by the Cincino family and other early printers, did prayer become more unified and more well known as a common form throughout the Jewish world. And even then, as we know, there were differences between different communities, between Sephardim and Ashkenazim, and differences of the Romaniyot and the Mustarabim and other things, also stayed. And Minhagim developed, again, depending upon necessity or upon local custom that may have been going on until that point. Yes, David?
I remember in school we learned that Abraham was the first one to say Shacharit, then Yitzchak.
Fine, I have no problem with that.
So what were they actually saying then?
Well,
that they say,
I don't know.
What they're saying.
I don't know if they were saying prayer. Okay, they were praying. In other words, so Abraham developed or established the concept of praying in the morning. Ishaq praying in the afternoon, Ya'aqob praying at night. Yes, we have from Anshe Knesset Gedolah, we have a set form of prayer in the sense of prayer meaning the Amidah. Tefilah is the Amidah, and we have the basic format of what the berachot of the Amidah are. But that's really more or less the basic concept of each beracha and the closing of the beracha. But what's in the beracha, that also was changed. That was changed.
That's not all from Shimon HaTzadik?
Absolutely not. It was changed, and we have plenty of Genizah excerpts, and we could see how it changed and developed, constantly.
Well, from the time of the Anshe Knesset Gedolah?
Even during the days of Rambam himself. From the year, let's say, from 1100 to 1300, it changed many times. You take any one beracha of the Amidah. We're not up to Amidah. We're going to start with Modeh Aniyim, Rikot Sha'are, and stuff like that. But when we eventually get there, hopefully, I'll show you different examples of the berachot in the Amidah. And you look at the berachot of the Amidah in Siddur Rab Amram Gaon is one thing, Siddur Rab Sa'adiah Gaon is something. We have certain excerpts of VeOhel Gaon. We see different other, and things have changed. You look at the Siddur based upon the Abu Dirham, who was in northern Spain, in Toledo, approximately 1300. You see differences over there as well. So the text of Amidah, the way, let's say he was taking Hashiva Shofeteinu Kebarishona VeOhel Menouhah. That's not the same in every place.
No, but the Nosach of the Sephardim was
different.
It was all...
From city to city, from century to century, it was changed. You had the basic concept was there. This was a beracha of, let's say, Selahlan, was a beracha of forgiveness, okay? And the beracha would end Hanun Be'eslawah. But everything between the first word and Hanun Be'eslawah was up for grabs.
So the matbeya was only
the matbeya is the beracha itself, not what leads up to the beracha. And even that matbeya, and they want to tell you matbeya shtab'u hachamim. Even that's not as easy as it's, as they want you to believe it to be. So there's a lot that developed and changed over the years. So like I said, with the advent of the printing press, things became slightly more unified, especially among the Sephardim. We're not really going to get into the Ashkenazim because they had, their own things. Some of it are based upon old minhagim of Yisrael. Some things we don't know where they came from, but that's the way things generally work. And then prayer was more or less the same. Let's say we're dealing with from 1500 to 1700, 1750. Prayer was more or less the same, untouched, unadulterated.
That wasn't Kabbalistic change then?
No. Kabbalistic change came... See, what people want you to believe, Kabbalistic change, they're telling you, it happened already 1500. Absolutely not. Kabbalistic change didn't start until the mid-1600s, and even then... So, as I was saying, some people want you to believe that, Kabbalah took over the Siddur at approximately the year 1500. I would say absolutely not. I would say real Kabbalistic inclusions really didn't start until about 1615. Even that wasn't really heavy until 1750 onward, where it really started coming in. You started getting... You have to understand, books like Nagidum Saveh and Hamdat Yamim started becoming popular in let's say between 1725 and 1815. And with those books becoming popular and recommending certain changes, certain additions, certain exclusions, certain deletions, that's when more Kabbalistic ideas started coming in. And then with the Hida coming about and him being such a worldly hacham, and he was also a world traveler, so he was able to bring his ideas and concepts of peshat and sod to communities throughout the world. That also started to slowly affect things, and also with his writings that became famous in Moreh Be'etzba, Ahabat Kodesh, and Keshel Godel, things like that started coming about and making slight changes. As we know, though, for more or less, the Siddourim of the Sephardim still remained the same. The classic Siddur for the Sephardi Hacham became the Siddur printed by Hacham Yehuda Shemuel Ashkenazi, printed on the Livorno press of Bene and others, of Beit Obed and Beit Menouhah. Beit Obed for weekdays, Beit Menouhah for Shabbat. But in there, this was not just a Siddur, this was, in a sense, the preeminent book of halacha as well, because it included any possible halacha related to prayer. And he sourced it all out. It's not that he just wrote, okay, do this, don't do that. He brought you halacha with a source. He brought you opposing halacha with a source. He wasn't afraid to bring you different opinions. And each one was printed on a separate line, so it was clear to see. And at times, though, he would print what was commonly said, but he would also put, really, according to this hacham, these words shouldn't be said. You should say this instead, or you should, take out this word, or you should add this word, or you should, only have this many words in this particular prayer that you're saying because it opens up certain doors, certain channels, certain paths. But for the most part, he didn't change the text of the Siddur. But these things, as the Hachamim were using this more, and certain laymen were using it, that's what's better to do, then I want to do that too. This is just a way. I always want to do what's the better thing. And that's human nature. Who wouldn't want to do, something that the Hacham is telling me it's better to do it, so then why not do it? So that slowly took hold. But the common Siddourim of the Sephardim, like Olat Tamid and Tefilat HaHodesh and other books like that, remained the same, remained untouched, except for certain notes here and there and certain minor changes. But for the most part, things were unchanged until really the Bene Ish Chai came along. Bene Ish Chai came along.
And the Iraqi dominance.
It's not an issue of Iraqi dominance, and we're going to get to that. Bene Ish Chai was a very... You have to understand what the concept of Bene Ish Chai was. The Bene Yosef Hayim, was a very wealthy individual. He was very, very smart, but he was also a very, very big Mikubbal and very, very well loved in Baghdad. And his particular book, Bene Ish Chai, went according to the parasha of the week, and he brought, your daily halachot and Shabbat halachot, etc. And he always would bring in certain things pertaining to the Tefilah where it fit in. And it became popular among his people in Iraq. Also became popular in Persia. And as Jews from Iraq began to make Aliyah on a more permanent basis, let's say beginning around 1915, 1920, so books of the Bene Ish Chai and his writings started to become more popular in Yerushalayim and Hebron. Also, you have to understand that Yosef Hayim, the Bene Ish Chai, would be in correspondence with the Hachamim of Yeshivat VeOhel, which was the preeminent domain of the Mekubbalim in Yerushalayim, as well as, again, with Hebron, with Rabbi Eliyahu Manni and his descendants over there, who were originally from Baghdad. So he had a lot going back and forth, and there was a lot of communication and sharing of ideas. But all that didn't make a difference, because it only affected the way the Iraqis prayed more on the style of the Mukubbalim, and even that took hold rather slowly, because the books that were being in use in Baghdad and Yerushalayim were still coming for the most part out of the printing presses of Livorno, Italy, or out of Vienna, Austria. It was only with the advent of, like I've told many of you before, the advent of Hitler and the Holocaust, that actually went into Austria, destroyed everything Jewish, Mussolini destroying everything Jewish in Italy. There was now a major void. Where do we get Siddourim from? Every person living in...
No printing in Yerushalayim?
There was very little printing in Yerushalayim, but and the quality wasn't great. The cost was not, the best. It was easier to go to the well-established presses that were functioning for centuries, mainly in Livorno, Italy, some in Venice, Italy, some in Germany. Mantua, Italy. And we're talking about for Sephardim. And then, of course, with the printing press of Yosef Schlesinger that was going on in Vienna, Austria, that became very famous for Ashkenazim and Sephardim alike. He printed practically everything on that press, and in almost every language. He would print books in Arabic and in Ladino and in Yiddish and in English and in Polish and in Czechoslovakia. He printed the most amazing type of books, Schlesinger, on his press. He didn't care what language and what nosah you wanted, he would do it. And he did it rather cheaply, from what I'm able to find out. In any case, everything's now destroyed. So now, if you're living in Israel, or Syria, or Egypt, or Lebanon, or Brooklyn, and it's now 1940 and 1950, and you need a Siddur, if you don't have your grandfather's old book that you could still use, and it's not tattered and ready to be thrown out,
You have a problem.
you have a problem. Where am I getting books from?
It's pre-China.
Here comes
This
the
is
Iraqis.
Okay.
The Iraqis, mainly Salah Ya'aqob Mansour. There was also Azra and Yishaq Baqal. There was also some other smaller Iraqi printing presses going on,
Where?
but in Yerushalayim. They were all going on in Yerushalayim, and they were already started approximately 1930. And again, they were, like I said, they were printing small amounts of books for their co-religionists in Yerushalayim, in Baghdad, but for the most part, nothing really left that domain unless you wanted, a book from Yerushalayim, the books that printed in Palestine, because you were living in, in some Muslim country, and that's where you got a book, because you felt it was a nice souvenir from the Holy Land. Seriously. But now you need books. So now the Iraqis are having a party. We have added business, and we get to push the ways of the Ari, and mainly of Rabbi Yosef Hayim. They changed the entire face of the prayer book. No. They changed the entire face of the prayer book.
It's amazing how it came about. Yeah. From printing.
Printing.
That's it.
It's all printing.
Right.
But let me explain this to you now.
It's forever.
So now all of a sudden, my book says A, B, C, D. But the new book from Yerushalayim says
A, B, C, D, E.
It doesn't say A, B, C, D. It says
FJH.
A, D, B, C. Oh, we were wrong. Because this says on the front cover, לפי נוסח הארי, ועד הערות של רבי יוסף חיים, ריש גדותא דבבל. Wow. This must be it. And I'm not looking to poke fun at the Ari, because he was a tremendous mikubal. I'm not looking to poke fun at Rabbi Yosef Hayim, because as we've studied some of his teshuvot in the past, and we know his effect on Jewry worldwide, he was a tremendous hacham. And he could be a pashtani when he wanted to, and he could be a very, very big mikubal when he wanted to. And he was a businessman too. He wasn't some,
I never read he was a businessman.
He was a big businessman. He was very wealthy.
I wanted to skip it out of the book.
No, the book that you read probably made sure to not print that in there. Like the books that followed, Siddourim, according to the Bene Ishai, where they didn't put certain things in those Siddourim because the Bene Ishai didn't want them there. But in any case, my point is that printing changed everything. So now all of a sudden I have this new book. It came from Yerushalayim Kodesh, and is based upon these amazing hachamim that we've heard about. Yeah, okay, the old book I was using was also based upon hachamim, but they're dead, then we don't know much about them anymore. So this is this is new, this is fancy, this is nice. Let's start taking this on. Now here we are. Let's forget about living in Yerushalayim. Let's forget about living in Iraq, or in Egypt, or in Syria, or in Lebanon. Here we are living in Brooklyn, New York. Okay? Our books that we were using, 1910, 1920, 1930, all our books are still coming to us, mainly from Livorno, and also some from Vienna. World War II comes, all our boys are out there fighting. We know there's no books coming in from there. Everybody's using tattered books. Can't get anything from Israel because Israel is also up in arms. We don't know what's going on in that country. We don't even know if there is a country, if there's people living there, if Jews are alive or dead. You have to understand, the news was coming in, and obviously, not only sporadically, we didn't know if it was coming in and it was honest reporting or not, because most people living in the United States didn't know what was going on in German death camps. Yeah. Even though the United States government knew, they weren't trickling. Yeah, they knew. They knew very well, but they weren't letting that trickle down to the media. The people, for the most part, didn't know. They heard things, and through the Jewish grapevine, Jews knew that Jews were being, murdered, but nobody knew to what extent. Nobody knew what was going on. To talk about what's going on in Palestine, who knows what's going on over there? So nobody knew anything. But now the war's over. The boys are back. It's now 1950. We need books. What do we do? To the rescue, we have Azra Tawil. Azra Tawil. Who's Azra Tawil I'm talking about? Mo Tawil's eldest brother. Right. Old man Abe Tawil?
Ike Tawil's father.
No. But Abe Tawil. Old man Abe Tawil?
Yes, yeah.
Abe's father.
Oh, Abe's father.
Abe's father.
Abe Ezra, right. Okay.
Yes. Okay?
Right.
He doesn't even go to Knesset anymore, has it?
How old is it?
He's old, but he's depressed, like, Jacob's father. Jacob's father, yeah.
Isaiah's from another day. He tries to make it, but
he tries, but he doesn't go as often as he used to. No. Hazi, very nice man. One of the sweetest men around.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, so his father...
Yeah,
they were good people.
Good person.
Yeah. So anyway, so Abe's father, Azrat Hawil, he became the Judaica man of the community. And since the Tawilat came from Yerushalayim, they had some sort of connection to some people over there, and they're the ones that started bringing in these Mansour books, Tefilat Yesharim mainly. You get the rest of the picture from now. 1950 they started. Now, who else came to the community at the same time period? Hacham Baruch. Now, Hacham Baruch is here, and he has his connections also to Yerushalayim, and of course, he's really Kurdi, he's Zafo, really. Good. Anyway, he's from Zafo, it's North Iraq, which is on the Kurdi border over there.
I thought he's in Mizrah, he's from the east.
Anyway, listen to me, I'm going to tell you, from Zafo, that's the city. All right, where the family is originally from. And now we have, what are they using in Yerushalayim? Salah Yaakov Mansour Tefilat Yesharim books. Okay, that's what the books that the Hachamim in Yerushalayim use. All the Hachamim use it. All the people use it. That must be a good book. Let's start bringing those in.
That's for everybody else.
Yeah, you had a question, Barry?
Yeah. From what I saw, the books that the Syrians were using, the one that said Tefilat Yesharim, they looked different than the ones the Iraqis used.
Wrong, and we'll show you all of them.
Okay, fine.
I have every one of them.
All right,
okay.
I trusted you. They just as I glanced at it, looked.
That's the problem. You only glanced. You didn't look at them. Don't worry, we're going to get to it.
Okay.
No, that's Yeshouroun. That's different. Yeshouroun is different. We're going to talk about Yeshouroun. Yeshouroun has a whole different history.
This is Tefilat Yesharim.
Yesharim. Yeah, we're going to discuss Yesharim. We're going to discuss it. Don't worry. So now you have Azrat Tawil and Hacham Baruch. Not that Hacham Baruch was making money off of this deal. This was Azrat Tawil's Judaica, basically. And it was happening, either he would bring the books to your house, or, for the most part, in the annex of Magen David 67th Street, he'd sell them out of there. So there you go. I'm in Kinis. Buy the book of Azrat Tawil. Azrat Tawil is the Hazan of the junior league, which was the forerunner to young Magen David. There you go. Perfect. Who do you want better than that? This is the son of Abraham Tawil, one of the community leaders. So obviously, it's a good. And Hacham Baruch, the new rabbi that came from Yerushalayim, likes it. And Qol Ya'aqob Kassim, the chief rabbi, saw it, and he gave his stamp of approval to the book. He's using it himself. It's got to be a great book. Yeah, there's differences. So the old timers would keep up to the minhagim, but after a while, as the community was becoming, we'll call it less religious, because less people were going to Knesset on a regular basis in the 50s and especially in the 60s. No problem. There's no more old timers left. There's nobody who knows minhagim anymore. By 1970, total eradication. Yesharim is the one and only way to go. Sounds great, right? Now, let's backtrack. Ezra brought with him a Tefilat Yeshouroun. Tefilat Yeshouroun was printed Lower East Side by the Hebrew Publishing Company. Okay? First came out in 35. There's no date on your book. Is there, Ezra? Of course not. I know, there's no date. That's not the original printing, that's why. Original printing was a light blue cover.
Light blue, yeah.
That's right.
No, you never saw the light blue cover.
I did.
No, you saw the one I have inside. Yeah, but you didn't. The light blue cover you saw was not the original light blue cover. You saw a different light blue cover.
I didn't know there's no date.
That marbleized one is not
No, it's not marbleized.
I mean, it wasn't the pink ones?
No.
Peach, whatever.
It came out with different colors, different times. The last color was a white ivory. There's no date. What are you wasting your time for? Is that a Harry Mizrahi book?
Yeah, there's a date, yeah, 77.
No, that's the address.
Address, yeah.
7779 Delancey Street.
Delancey Street, look at that. There's no date in here.
I just told you the Lancey Street.
Okay, somebody died here, 1966.
Okay, very good.
El Shammah.
Fine, but in the front of the book, it's not a Harry Mizrahi book in the front. So here's a Harry Mizrahi book. I have a stack of these inside.
Where do you think I got it from?
Anyway, so that first came out in 35. It came out with subsequent editions, yes.
Right, so 1940-50, they're using Tefilat Yesharim.
That's the newer book.
That's the newer
People
book.
still had old books. And people still had this
And
Yeshouroun.
this is from
We're going to get to this.
Abe Towel.
Abe Towel's father, Azrat Tawiyah.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
That started in 1950.
Okay.
Let's leave that on the side.
Gotcha.
That's just a very important fact to keep in mind.
Okay.
As we said, Tefilat Yeshouroun was printed by the Hebrew Publishing Company, Lower East Side, 7779 Delancey Street. You got that?
Get
Okay?
the address.
Lower East Side of Manhattan. And that book was a nice, simple, easy book. It was published for all the Sephardim that happened to be in New York at the time. Whether you were from the Middle East, or from Turkey, or from Greece. That was the book. It worked for everybody. It was the same basic prayer. You had the same basic format, because it copied the text out of the old Livorno books. There was no frills. There were all the halachot were gone. All the instruction was gone. All
Praises.
additional prayers were gone. As much turning pages as possible was put into that book to keep the book skinny. And they made the high gloss pages so it would, endure. So it was a nice, simple book.
Love it.
People were going away to war. It was a good book. They could take it with them,
Not too bulky.
not bulky at all, and it was able to withstand, even if it got wet because of the high gloss page, it didn't, really affect it too badly. It was a good book, convenient. People loved it. Nobody knows who put the book together. Till today, nobody knows.
Tesh, give me the book.
Yes, sir.
You don't start them. You're going to talk the title page and it says put together by Aleph Bet Nun. We know, very nice. But who is that? We don't know. Now,
But you know all the abbreviations.
nobody knows who put the book together. We even tried contacting people that had old records of Hebrew Publishing Company and everything's destroyed. Everything's gone. Hebrew Publishing Company doesn't even exist anymore. Anyway.
Wait. Go ahead.
Second edition of the book, though, and this is based upon a second or third or fourth edition. If you look at the Chadudi Friday night, it has the check marks on the four stanzas that the Halabiyah say. First edition doesn't have check marks. See the check marks?
Yeah.
So it wasn't
They printed it with check marks
For the Sephardim.
only for the Halabiyah.
For the Halabi, right.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Wow. That's interesting.
So was
First edition doesn't have check marks.
It's getting more interesting as we go.
Maybe I made
Oh
the
my
book.
God.
Maybe you
Wow.
did. It's very funny.
You like that?
Classic.
That's one of the few changes from the first edition to
Right.
subsequent editions.
I presume you have a first edition.
I do have a first edition.
The first edition, no check marks.
No check marks.
And it has all the same
And all the stanzas
all
are
the
there,
stanzas,
but no
no
check
check
marks.
And it looks like someone actually wrote them in and then it was copied that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And most probably,
Yeah.
we were never able to confirm it, but most probably it was Rabbi Kasson that approached them and said, when you reprint, just mark these off. But we're not positive. Nobody's positive about that. That's just, conjecture.
We don't know who printed it.
No, we know who printed it. We don't know who
we don't
put
put
the
it
book
together.
together. We don't know who the editor was. That we don't know.
Today, you know everybody's name in lights.
Yeah. Exactly. People were anav. They didn't make a big deal out of it. We don't know who it was. It'd be interesting to go investigate the Ladino press of the time, if anybody wrote about it. Anyway,
I wouldn't know where to start.
you wouldn't know. I would know. I just have a hard time with Ladino, but, we still find out.
Oh, how about one of his
You
languages.
might know.
One of his languages,
And you might know this is issue.
He might. This is something that even Rabbi Mark Angel may even know about it. Because he's written extensively about the early Ladino press in the United States.
Motel doesn't know?
Motel doesn't know.
No?
No, this was competition to his family. No.
Competition to his family?
Sure.
Why?
Because his brother Azra Tawil was selling Tefilat Yesharim. This is a nice book. Look at the... Come on.
You did that very well.
Anyway, the only other real change is in the vidui in the Nefilat Apayim. I'll show you when we get to that point in the Siddur. I'll show you the differences. It's really not the point right now. So this book was used by many people in the community for quite some time, but it was for the common man. And the common man either prayed or didn't pray, probably knew the basic prayer that he said by heart, only used the book for shahrit, whether it be on weekdays and on Shabbat. And Shabbat was the biggest problem with that book, because the guys that would show up late in Knesset, if you open up that book, Shabbat starts from the Shmat.
Yeah.
So you're in the middle of the beracha between Baruch She'ahan and Shabbat. And that's what the common person would walk into the dome.
Right. Oh my God, that's right.
And you started from the Shmat.
Bring it back to the old days.
You bring it back to when we were kids.
You turn the page, it's the Shmet.
It's the Shmat. And that's what we started praying from.
Right.
Nobody told us you have to start from Baruch She'ahan. You start from the Shmat. That's what Shahri Shabbat starts, the Shmat. Not even Kiyam Rahim al the Shmat.
Right. Wow.
You walk to the dome 9:30,
Right.
and you stood in the back row,
Right.
the Shmat.
Get the early bird ticket.
Right or wrong?
They love this today. Wow. That's right.
You like that?
That's a good one. I remember now coming back.
It's
Right.
coming
You
back.
opened the book.
The Shmat,
It's
see?
not. There's nothing. You didn't go to.
I remember, when's the last time I opened this book, and I remember all these weird things about it.
It's unbelievable.
This is fun. So, now what books were being used in the community? That's what we're going to touch upon now, and then we're going to we'll go back to see what was going on. So we know this book was being used in the community from 35 until, I'll tell you right now, the last printing happened in 80. That was the last time they printed. So from 30, Yeshouroun. From 35 to 80. And there were also the Hebrew-English versions of it. Okay? Approximately 1995, Rabbi Lankry basically did a photocopy edition, photo offset edition of the Hebrew-English one, and put a different name on it. He took away the Tefilat Yeshourun name. It was short-lived, obviously. He didn't do it on the best quality paper, and he gave it some funny name and a cheap cover, and he only printed a small number of them.
And he put it in Guinea's eye now.
Who knows where they are? I never even made it my business to pick one up because it wasn't worthwhile. Because I already had, the original Hebrew-English ones.
Those were good ones, the original Hebrew-English.
Yeah, I have. I also have a couple of those inside.
Yeshouroun?
Yeshouroun, Hebrew-English, sure.
If you go to the walls of Siddur, you might find all these different books.
No, you won't.
Not anymore?
No.
No. Yeshouroun were taken out of ages ago.
From the old
Now-
67th Street? No.
Old 67th Street, you may find one
You
or
may
two
find one or
English
two
ones.
lying around.
Yeah. It's easier now that, Levy passed away, so Mickey will let you in and do whatever you want.
Right.
Levy wouldn't let anybody touch anything. One time Mickey gave me a book, and he happened to mention it to Levy a week later. Levy like, the book. Mickey's like, tell him you give me back the book. If he calls you, keep the book. He took me upstairs.
Eddie? Eddie,
Yeah.
right?
No, he took me upstairs to Rabbi Kassan's old office, and in the old metal file cabinet closet, there was a box of books.
Joey's.
He goes, this box hasn't been opened since 1965. You want a book? Take a book.
So he took a box.
No, I took a book. He gave me a book. He gave Morris Hawking a book, and he goes, nobody's going to look at these books. They're going to be here in 2,000 years from now, too. You're going to read it. Take it. Mickey is great.
It's a classic.
Okay, God bless him.
Nobody like him.
Still
Mickey.
chugging away.
God bless him. I heard he fell in Florida.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't call him to find out. But he's okay now.
These houses falling apart.
I don't know where he's taking care of. So what Siddourim were in vogue in the community? We had this book. Okay? That's the earliest community book, if you will.
I'm sorry, the Tefilat, this is the second print. This is not the
This is
original.
a subsequent print. This is
The
definitely
other
not
one
the
had the
first.
front. It was on
Oh,
the
no,
front, right?
this cover doesn't have the name on it only because Harry Mizrahi took hundreds of Siddourim,
Yeah.
different kinds of Siddourim, not only Tefilat Yeshouroun, and rebounded.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the only reason this one doesn't have the name on it. Otherwise, we have the name on the front and on the spine.
Right, okay.
On the spine too.
Right.
Okay. He did it with this book, with Ahiezer books, which we're going to talk about now also. Okay.
Ahiezer Rasson's.
Rasson. Ahiezer Rasson book was another community book that Ahiezer obviously put out, the Mesatons put out beginning in approximately 1964. Okay?
What's the name of that?
Rasson.
Oh, that red one. That,
Tall
The
one.
big
It was a
Yeah.
taller one,
Right,
yes.
yes. I don't like that book.
And you have...
You don't have to
Tefilat
like
Good,
it.
Yesharim.
good printing.
We're going to get to that. Wait, before Gabriel Stein. So now, when Eddie Sitt's son, Joey, passed away, okay? Remember that?
Yeah,
No.
Joey's friend.
Let's do you.
You don't remember
So it was
because
Joey
you were
Harari's friend.
Weren't
Right?
born yet.
You got
Weren't
hit
born
by the
yet.
car,
Yeah.
the bike.
before we were born, April
Yeah.
of 66.
Joey was with him.
Is that what it was?
Joey was with him? I don't know
Joey
if he
was with him. You
Oh,
didn't
yeah?
know?
No, I
Sure,
know Joey
he
was
was with him. Joey Harari was with him.
I didn't know he was with
What
him.
happened?
Hit
Hit by a car.
By a car.
Anyway, so Eddie Sitt donated a bunch of reprints of Tefilat Bene Sion to his own knis at the time. Okay, he obviously Sittshul didn't really open up till like around 73 approximately, but they had Magen David of Ocean Parkway, which was East 4th Street downstairs in the basement. Okay, so he had these Tefilat Bene Sion, which is one of these Vienna prints that was reprinted in Yerushalayim by the Sinai press, and there were hundreds of those all over the community. I'll take one out and show it to you. No problem. So, yeah. Okay,
We
so
probably had them too, but they probably got lost in the shuffle.
so that was another common book in the community, because Eddie said, besides putting them obviously over there, he put them all over the place. Now, Evi Duat brought in Ahabat Sion.
Classic.
Yeah.
Ahabat Sion was a classic.
Yes.
Okay, this was another one of these Yerushalayim Baghdadi books. The only difference is that if you look at the book, it doesn't say anything about the Ari, it doesn't say anything about the Ben Ish Hai. It just tells you Menouhah Sephardim VeOhel Bene Aidot HaMizrach Ba'aretz U'B'Chutz La'aretz. Wow, that's a great book. That's perfect. It covers all of us. Till you get to the fine print. And you're reading very nice. It includes every page without having to turn extra pages. Every Kaddish you want is there. Yahadav Yabu, Al Nisim, Ketoret. Everything is here. Till you get down. Oh, wait. There's a Bakasha Le'ilu Nishamot Lehareyah Tob. Who's Reyah Tob? Rab Yosef Hayim. But nobody knows who Reyah Tob is. Well, there's a nice Bakasha. There's a nice thing to say for departed souls. Okay, looks good. Don't know anything about the kids can learn how to read. Nice. I like it. Okay. Let's go for it. Nice new book. Who doesn't want a new book? So lo and behold, Sha'are Sion buys tons of them.
Thousands.
Renames it Sha'are Sion, and I'll show you one of those too. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, they renamed
He renamed it. A special printing made for them himself.
Wow.
Who made them? Who
This
who's
book
the
came
editor?
from Ishkol. Ashkenazim.
Oh, Ashkenazim.
Ashkenazim. Rabbi Weinberg in Yerushalayim. Okay, they own the Ishkol printing house.
Right.
Okay. And since they ordered so many of them, we want the covers to say Sha'are Sion on them. No problem. And they made for other people, and then they made small miniature ones they called the Ahabat Sion, but all the same Siddur. No problem. Not only was it used, predominantly in Sha'are Sion for a long time, this was the Siddur.
What year? 70s.
Still there
now.
About 70s.
This was the 70s.
Still there now.
But not
Yeah,
as
that was
used.
better.
Nah. But not only there, this was throughout the 70s and the 80s. Okay, this was the book that was given out to every student in Magen David.
Right. That's right.
And it said on the bottom, special printing, and it said in Hebrew, special printing for Magen David, New
You
York.
have that also?
I have that also.
I remember getting that.
No, seriously.
I promise you, how do I know all these things, Amy? I'm a Siddur collector.
Oh my God.
That's how I started with books.
I'm
I
waiting for
started
Sam
with-
Kant so I can start the next chapter here.
I remember my grandfather reading Ketores. He used to hold the book up here.
Up here, your
Right,
grandfather. He wasn't even using
Right,
it.
wasn't he using it? He was looking at everybody. I don't know what they were doing.
He was making faces at all the people talking. Okay. What are the books we use in the community? Now we have... People aren't happy. What do you mean? What's this book? What's that book? Gabe Shrem came along. We need a new book.
Blue one.
Bet Yosef. Well,
Yeah, baby, that's the fattest one I've ever seen.
no. It didn't start off fat.
No?
No.
You have the original?
Of course.
Well, hold on. Let me get this.
Yeah.
Close that. I have that book in my house.
Go ahead.
This is the 1950 Olat Tamid business.
Tefilat Yesharim. I think I have that.
Yeah, there was
Let me
the...
see.
This is the... What do you call it? This is the fat edition and this is the skinny edition.
Yeah.
Here's the skinny edition.
This looks like my Zord that my father has.
Yeah. The same,
Right, the
same printing.
Same printing.
Same printing, same press,
Oh,
same
this.
everything.
Yeah, where'd you get that from? Where'd you get that
It's
from?
my first Siddur when I was a little kid.
He rated the dead man.
You definitely raided somebody's house. I don't know where you went, by the way. You said some old timers. They
I went
don't
to
know where
everybody's
they're
house. The old times are dead.
They're looking for the Siddur. They can't find it.
Trust me, they're not looking. Everybody went and bought a new book.
I remember this book.
This was my first Siddur that my father gave me
Oh,
when I
the
was a little
cover.
kid.
Wow. See, this is nice.
That's the problem. Everybody thinks it's nice. I don't think it's nice. But
Well,
we'll
no,
get
I'm
to that.
saying like the print is nice.
The print is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, the print was very nice.
Yeah.
The print was very nice and clear. Okay? So now, this Tefilat Yesharim, the abridged version, because it was skinny, or the Tefilat Yesharim HaShalim, were the basic building blocks of Gabriel Shrem's Beit Yosef VeOhel Abraham. If you open the book, it's the same book, it's the same print, it's the same everything.
Right.
What did Gabriel change? He got rid of all the footnotes, even though he left the footnotes up there, he got rid of them on the bottom of the page. So I wrote some in.
He left the footnote up here, but there's no footnote
Right.
at the bottom of the page. Okay.
See? Yesharim had footnotes on everything.
Right.
Every pasuk, every...
So his book is fatter.
Not because of the footnotes. And it's not really fatter.
No.
Same.
He made a few changes, but not much. He just wanted to basically boil down to they wanted to make their own community book.
It's a decent Siddur.
It's decent. So Mansour made the book, but Gabriel Shrem and Eddie Sitt gave their slight changes, and it was made specifically for the Aleppian Publication Society of Brooklyn, New York. So now we have Aleppian. Oh, it's a Halabi book, and we got a Haskama from Hacham Baruch, who didn't want his name in it. So after they printed the book,
This is
gave
Haskama?
Shrem what? Yeah,
Hambaruch's?
Hacham Baruch.
Oh, yeah?
But he didn't want his name in it. So they printed the book without his Haskama, without his name. After the book came out, Gabe Shrem sat there one Sunday and stamped every book. I saw him do it. Open the book for me. Open the book for me. He got a whole bunch of boys, open the book for me. And he walked around with a stamp. So he gave a book to Hacham Baruch. See, he liked it. Came out. He didn't have his name. He liked the book. Then he went and sent them all.
That's funny.
And there's some changes here. So now, the Yesharim of Mansour has what's today in every Israeli Siddur, the Rasson after Berkot HaShahar, that are Lashon Yahid, not Rabbim, and they're missing words compared to what we know. gave Shrem. So he told Mansour, you got to change it. That's why you see the different. You see from this typeface to this typeface because he changed it. Add in all these things that we say. And then we'll go back to the old typeface again. So there's all different things throughout the book that Gabe Shrem changed to bring it back to our minhag, but he didn't make all the changes because Chacham Baruch likes it, Chacham Shaul Kassin likes it, this one likes it, that one likes it. It's more according to the swords, it's better. But certain things that are so ingrained in the people, we need to put back, like Birkot HaShachar. Because that people just know by heart from when they're born.
Can I see the Tefilat Yesharim for a second?
Not yet.
After class, sir.
Now you can look at it.
That's okay.
I brought one out that doesn't have a Sha'are. Sha'are meaning the title page.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. It doesn't say Bene and all that stuff.
No, I have one. Don't worry. I have.
What year we up to? We're in the 19...
No. So this came out in 1974.
74?
This came out 74.
70s.
First
Okay.
printing. Then there was second printing, 83, whatever.
Right.
There were different printings. By the time this big fat book that you're talking about came out, I stopped collecting them at that point because they were worthless. Okay, because Gabriel Shem was gone himself, and
That was over.
Yeah.
Who did this book?
Sukkot David is not even worth a mention.
That's what I'm doing.
It's not worth a
It's
mention.
not is it?
Plus, it's not a community book.
Yeah.
Okay, the Ahabat book, since we're back to the Ahabat book, Avi, is this same Ahabat Sion book that you brought out, but enlarged to make it easy to read, and also with the same basic changes like Birkot HaShachar and stuff like that to conform to what we know.
All right.
Now, otherwise, it's Ahabat Sion. So, Ahabat started the trend of using the Israeli book as a base and making changes. They started in the 60s.
Is it called Etrason? No.
Eitrason.
Oh, Etrason.
Eitrason.
Let's get that book also.
Did they add chamois things in there?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one.
Yeah.
The hardcover.
I have the
You
hardcover
have the
too.
hardcover too.
Sure,
Blue, the red.
sure.
Where did those color coordinations come out,
Now those came out
The
later.
gray,
That,
the yellow,
those
the
were
blue.
later on, but there was the early one was blue. The first one that was hardcover
Blue,
was
right.
just blue.
Oh, wait, but before we get into, when did those yarmulkes start in Siddur? Those different...
That's because Whitey had his factory in the Philippines and all the leftover fabric. That's what he used to
Oh,
do.
that's where they make the...
Yeah. The zebra one was the best one. Raymond Ashkenazi still wears them. Anyway. No, but the green and the red were the most famous ones. Everybody used to wear those around the community.
Yarmulkes
Yeah.
also.
I don't miss a beat.
Yarmulke class next.
Yeah.
When the yarmulke started.
Nobody knows. Okay. We're finished with all that. Now we come down to what AB likes. Qol Ya'aqob.
Fast forward to 1987.
All right, so
Right,
we
what year?
basically finished with the Siddourim that were used in the community. For whatever reason, different people wanted to go back to the simple style of Tefilat Yeshouroun. Right? Ezra Yeshouroun
Right.
that you have over there. They wanted to make a simple book, clear, easy,
No frills.
no frills, no sources, no halachot. Just a simple, skinny prayer book. For some reason, they just couldn't make it skinny. And they came out with Qol Ya'aqob. Sam Catton hired Rabbi David Biton to put out the book. Book came out, unfortunately, it was printed and it was full of mistakes.
First edition.
First edition.
What year was this? 80?
I'll pull it out if you want.
I think it's 86.
I have the first edition, which they recalled the same night, but I still have it. I refuse to give it back.
Get out of here.
I promise you.
I want to see that one.
I'll show it to you. It's without the stickers in it. Remember they put stickers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I refuse to give my book back
Oh,
to
yeah?
put stickers in it.
He corrected himself.
You gotta send me this class.
This is what you want.
This one's Joey wants.
I think a lot of people need to hear this. It's very important. In any case, now pause. So the first Qol Ya'aqob, edited and arranged by Rabbi David Biton, came out in 1985.
Before that, the Sam Catton has done other things before that? Like Shalom Yishalayim wasn't before that?
That was on a regular daily Siddur.
But I'm asking, I'm saying in our community.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that.
Okay.
We're talking about daily
So they say,
Siddurim right
did
now.
Sam do anything before this?
But we know Sam did other things.
What? No, not the Machzor. I'm just saying.
No,
I was just trying to say daily prayer, but
Right.
if he's saying after Machzor, don't get involved.
Right, we're just talking about regular
okay.
Siddurim now. So, this book came out, and there were some major screw-ups in it, unfortunately, and they had to pull the book and sticker it up and do other things to it, for whatever reason. In fact, when the book came out, a certain... Yeah. I guess it wasn't his fault because they probably rushed him, and he was an older man at the time, and nobody reviewed the book, and okay, the book's ready,
Just
print.
wanted to get right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Get it out.
They realized there were tons of mistakes, so immediately that same year, after they made, some major changes, they put it out again. The book with stickers in it, most of them, believe it or not, were not circulated. They stickered them and sent most of them to Mexico.
That's like those guys who abuse the kids. They send them to Israel.
It's a fact.
Send them to Mexico.
Listen, there's mistakes in the book, but besides that, there was on the first Friday night when the book was being used, a certain person that was hazaning in the dome used the book. They go, okay, this is the Halabi book, Halabi Menouhah. And there was a mistake in Kaddish, and he just said it the way the book said it in here.
Yeah.
I have to find it. Like I said, like Barry said, the book looks brand new. I haven't opened it in God knows how many years. People started yelling at, the Hazan. It's a mess. In any case,
The book was wrong.
who was the Hazan at the time? Guess. This is 1985.
Nahari.
There you go. In a way, you can't blame him. Told him this is Menouhah.
Well, he never looks in the book anyway, so...
He looked in the book.
this time he looked. And
He
got
looked.
the
Back then, he looked. He was. You have to understand, he was no Hazan.
Right.
Boy, wonder.
Obviously, we have more books that came out the community since then. Okay, you had the the Orot book, and you have Rabbi Michael Haber book, and everybody has some
book
other
is-
book, whatever.
Come on, let's not knock him.
All right.
Okay, Qol Ya'aqob has come out with umpteen million different editions, and sometimes David can't make up his mind as to what to put and what not to put, and he'll change from A to B, back to A, to C, back to B, because different people yell at him. Unfortunately, I feel bad for him. He doesn't have a strong committee to make these decisions. He wants to do the right thing, but it's hard.
And your forum couldn't help him?
We help him as much as we can. But, bottom line, it's his decision what he does with his company. What else? Any other questions about... Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
That's the word.
What's the word?
בערך. בחיי יכולים ביום אחד חיי יכול, בערך לעלם, ולעמי המייד בערך.
It's a mistake. Blatant
He probably
mistake.
looks in the book.
That was his first and last time.
No wonder why he's making mistakes also. He's never looking in the book.
Okay.
How the heck did you remember that?
Because it was a big thing.
You were there?
No, I wasn't there, but to that Shabbat morning, everybody in the community heard about it. Not kidding. Him and Maya staff were going to have a fist fight that night.
I want to know if he tried an SNE's 8th, if anyone would notice.
Nobody prayed. And even if anybody prayed, they wouldn't
Right,
notice.
stick a bunch of them in there, see what happens.
Nobody would know the difference. Nobody would know. Listen, nobody... Unfortunately, there's very few people in the community today that value prayer. Whatever. Any other Siddurim you want to
The
discuss?
Sha'are Sion one, it was part of the Tefilat Yesharim, you said? The one that said Sha'are Sion on the front.
No, I'll get you some
So
Sha'are
this
Sion
one,
books.
so the one after, my
This is
father
the
was
one-
involved
With the cushiony front,
Right?
Right?
This.
Your father wasn't involved until the one after
After
this, which
this.
was the 1990 edition.
Yeah.
No, but he wasn't. He was involved because they realized there was mistakes.
Right.
So they still had Rabbi Bitwan on the front,
And then they had Chacham
and then they
Khalil also.
still had Rabbi Bitwan on the front.
Right.
You see,
Right.
but okay. You know what? Rabbi Aluf is the new guy in
He's-
town.
yeah, that's-
You know what? Sam Catton is, basically paying for a big portion of what's going on with Rabbi Aluf. Let's get him involved. So after the Sam Catton has
So that has to do with Essening days when they brought in the
right.
roof?
So then they put in our deepest gratitude to the individual listed below for their invaluable assistance in every aspect of the sacred door. We got Rabbi Aluf and Dennis Weck and Meyer Saf to proofread the book at this point because we need to re-put it out quickly to save face. So the only way they were able to distinguish the books on the shelf because they have the same cover is they gilded the pages.
Right, he brought him Rabbi Aluf for the Pa'or Shul, right?
Basically. Or exactly.
Oh,
What do you mean?
You don't know that?
No.
You do
They
know
were
that?
supposed to it wasn't supposed to be just a synagogue. It was supposed to be basically a publication office. They were supposed to actually prepare major works for press. A lot of amazing vision was set for the combination of Rabbi Fa'ur with Rabbi Aluf under, Sam Catton and company. Nothing happened. There are a lot of great ideas. Nothing ever came to light.
yeah, it did.
No, there were a lot of
A
great
mess.
a lot of messes.
Yeah.
All right, let's